Welcome to Potential Unlocked, the Amateur Battle League's own Draft League strategy discussion series. Today, we're going to be discussing Drednaw's potential for ABL Season III. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, enable notifications, and let us know how you think Drednaw will perform in ABL Season III. Without any further delay, enjoy the video. What's up guys, my name is CurseShaka, and today I'm all alone, but we're going to be talking about Drednaw's potential for ABL Season III. If you guys do not know how ABL works, the Amateur Battle League, it is basically just a doubles format draft league. That's it. That's how it is. That's how it works. As of right now, we're recording this. It's July 11th, 2019. So we don't have a lot of information. So this video might actually get revised and updated as we get closer to release to Sword and Shield, and definitely as we get closer to ABL Season III. So, starting off, let's talk about Drednaw. Today we're going to be talking about Drednaw. It's a water and rock type Pokemon. Now, Drednaw has a lot of potential just with his typing alone. It also has a lot of weaknesses, being weak to electric, to grass, to fighting, just to name a few. And technically being 4 times weak to grass, it's a big deal. So right there we have a lot of issues with Drednaw, but let's break it down even better than that. Let's talk about what we know about Drednaw as of right now. We know Drednaw is a water rock type Pokemon. We know it weighs 254.6 pounds, and I'll get to why we're talking about weight in a second. And it also has the 2 abilities, Strong Jaw and Shell Armor. As of right now, we don't know its hidden ability or if it even has a hidden ability, but we'll just speculate further down the line about that and potentially have to, like we said, update the video. We know that it has 3 moves as of right now. It does learn Bite, it learns Liquidation, and it learns Rock Tomb. And if it learns Bite, we could obviously assume it's going to learn Crunch at a higher level. Drednaw is also one of the many Pokemon that can Gigantamax and change its form. And we'll talk about Gigantamaxing and everything in a little bit. So without any more further delay, now we broke down the basics of Drednaw, let's talk about some strategies. Let's start off with Drednaw's typing. Like we were saying before, it is weak against electric, grass, fighting, and ground types. Being 4 times weak against grass types is definitely going to be a very big issue, or are going to be a very big issue for Drednaw. It only resists 5 types, them being flying, poison, ice types, normal types, and it being even more resistant to fire types because of its water and rock typing. That right there does deal with a lot of the very good typings that we usually have in the ABL. Fire types are very dominant. Electric types are somewhat dominant, so like it's very iffy bringing Drednaw in against those electric types. But you do also have a lot of poison types in the ABL. You also have, as of late, a few very offensive flying types. So Drednaw can do very well there. Definitely very good against those fire types, but grass types, those are so common in teams, usually going for that fire, water, grass core, and that grass typing is probably going to do a very big dent into Drednaw. Unless if Drednaw were to evolve and change its typing to like water, steel, that grass type is going to be an issue to Drednaw. So that's something to look out for whenever you're trying to build your team. With Drednaw, you're probably wanting to pick something up that can potentially scare that grass type away from Drednaw as much as possible, or a few options to deal with that grass type. I mean, again, remember this is in the doubles format, so you need something to cover Drednaw's butt if you need it to be in battle against a grass type. Now, stat-wise for Drednaw, we could only speculate on if it's going to be an HP Pokemon, a defensive Pokemon, an offensive Pokemon, but just by the looks of how Drednaw looks, I think it'd be pretty safe to say that the Drednaw would probably just be one of those slower, bulkier mons, while at the same time being offensive. You don't want to get hit by a Drednaw, or it seems to be physical attacks. It definitely does seem like it's a slow mon, doesn't seem fast by any means at all. We do see, and again, we can only take these for face value. We don't know the hidden numericals. We don't know EVs, IVs, or anything like that. But we do have screenshots and footage of a level 50 Drednaw with 161 HP. So that should give you a little bit of an idea of what you're dealing with, especially if in these ABL matches we do scale those levels down, which we haven't confirmed yet. We will be confirming later down the line once we get more information on Sword and Shield. But as of right now, based on this screenshot and footage, you have a level 50 Drednaw with 161 HP. So that to me seems like it's going to definitely be one of the slower mons, probably not very good with special defense, very good with physical defense, of course, and then very good at physical offense. but it's semi-decent with special offense. That's just the way I see Drednaw working. It definitely does seem to be a very good mon, and as of right now, it's really hard to tell if it's a final stage evolution, even though with all the information we've gotten with, the Gigantamaxing, which we'll get into in a second, it does seem highly likely to be a final evolution. But of course, this video might be revised as we move closer to Sword and Shield. So, moving on to Drednaw's abilities. There are 2 abilities confirmed as of right now, the first one being Strong Jaw. Strong Jaw does increase the power of a Pokemon's biting moves by 50%. That is as of the past few generations. We do know that usually new generations include little changes to abilities, hidden changes to abilities that you don't really see at face value, that you have to kind of like investigate on your own and find out. But as of right now, the affected moves with Strong Jaw are Bite, Crunch, Fire Fang, Hyper Fang, Ice Fang, Poison Fang, Psychic Fangs, and Thunder Fang. We've already seen Drednaw have Bite, so Crunch is definitely a safe bet. I don't know if it will ever learn Fire Fang through egg moves, we don't know. Hyper Fang, we don't know. Ice Fang probably seems a little bit more likely. If any of the Fangs, it'd probably be Ice Fang the most likely one. Poison Fang being a closer contender, but Psychic Fangs and Thunder Fang probably being a lot harder to see on a Drednaw, although it would be very cool. But if you do have access to Crunch, you do have flinch chances, of course, if you're faster, but since we've been saying, Drednaw definitely doesn't seem like to be a fast Pokemon, so unless if it has Shell Smash, which it probably will have Shell Smash, I don't see anybody rocking a Crunch in doubles trying to get flinches off this Drednaw. But that being said, if you do run a Trick Room set, Drednaw being slower, you can potentially get that Crunch to take down, weak mons, maybe like a Starmie if it's available in game, maybe an Alakazam. It just depends on what you're dealing with at the moment. But, trying to get that Crunch with the flinch, very unlikely unless you're running a Trick Room set. And we don't know what Pokemon will be available yet, so this is all highly speculative. And then if we were to get access to moves like Ice Fang, that does give you, more chances to battle different types of Pokemon like Dragon types, Flying types, a little bit more coverage for certain types of Flying type Pokemon. So it's definitely good to see that these are the moves that will get that added effect from Strong Jaw, but we don't know exactly how much Drednaw is going to be able to use them to its advantage. As of right now, Crunch seems to be the only viable move that will get that benefit, unless if they introduce any new moves in Gen 8 for Strong Jaw. But as of right now, it just seems like Crunch, and we would need a Trick Roomer, so we don't really see people depending on Crunch too much from Drednaw. But what we do want to talk about is Gigantamaxing. Gigantamaxing does change the height of the Pokemon. We don't know if it changes the weight. So we don't know if Gigantamaxing will alter the weight of the Pokemon overall, and thus maybe altering moves like Grass Knot, Low Kick, and stuff like that. So that's something to keep in mind. And now that we're at the Gigantamaxing portion of this, not much changes with Drednaw except its physical appearance, and you guys should be seeing that on screen right now. A Drednaw Gigantamaxed does have access to one special move I do want to talk about, and that move is G-Max Stone Surge. Now this is a water type move. We've seen it in the most recent Pokemon Sword and Shield trailer, and what it does is it does damage as a water type move, but it also sets rocks on the ground. So this definitely makes Drednaw a very, very, very interesting, at least to say the least, Pokemon for ABL Season 3, because you might not necessarily want it to be a opener or a stealth rocker right away, or maybe not even have to carry stealth rocks, which is the biggest point. You can have another mon completely set up stealth rocks if you want to do that, and then say your opponent defogs and you haven't Gigantamaxed yet, and you want to Gigantamax and you have Drednaw, this thing's massive and powerful. You can just Gigantamax Drednaw, deal damage, and set the stealth rocks up when you take down that defogger. So Drednaw definitely showing potential as a Gigantamax Pokemon just with that move on its own. So there's some more strategy right there. I think we've covered everything in regards to Drednaw. So now that we have all that, let me break down what I would personally do with Drednaw. Again, this would be the part where we usually get other people that are on the show together and talk about what they would do with Drednaw. But as of right now, it's just me. So let's dive right into it. Now, if I drafted Drednaw into ABL Season 3, basically what I would be doing is using it as a powerhouse. using it as a bulky powerhouse that it is meant to be. If I have to Dynamax this thing, or Gigantamax it rather, if I have to Gigantamax it, I try to wait until I take out a defogger if there's one on the other team, or if I take out any other threat that might mess up my chance of Gigantamaxing this thing. And by that I mean anything that's a grass type, anything that has access to grass type moves, I need to take those out before I Gigantamax my Drednaw. I Gigantamax my Drednaw, do the Max G Stone Surge, set rocks up after the fact, and it has already altered the momentum of the battle. It being doubles, of course, I'd draft the rest of my team around Drednaw a little bit. Not too much specifically just on Drednaw because we don't know its stats yet, but definitely have Drednaw complement whichever Pokemon is either my sweeper or my bulkier set. Definitely have him complement him, but not have him completely as a supporting mon, but just another mon that could pick up some KOs. That would be what I would personally do for Drednaw, but let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you like Drednaw? Do you like the abilities, the moves that we know so far about Drednaw? How would you use Drednaw in a doubles format draft league? Without any further delay, my name has been CurseShaka from the Amateur Battle League, and we'll catch you in the next Potential Unlocked.